building that bridge that I have just mentioned. The following slide is what is the Faith for Earth Coalition, which I am so overwhelmed with the support that I have already heard this morning from all the spiritual leaders. It is a system where we are creating important councils or bodies to work together in sounding the alarm of the moral responsibility of everybody, not only decision makers and policy makers, but also the ordinary people, the faith leaders, the scientists, the private sector, civil society, and so on. So the first council is a council of eminent leaders. As we have done during this conference, we want to bring the highest level and most eminent faith leaders to continue delivering one message, the message that you have been saying about in the past 2 days. This would bring wisdom to the entire international community. An important element is young people who represent, in some cases and in some regions of the world, more than 80% of the population. And they are currently leading some important work on environmental challenges and fighting climate change. So raising and connecting the young leaders to be the leaders of tomorrow. They will take over the highest level authority, whether it is faith authority, whether it is political authority, whatever. They will be the ones who will be leading the future. So we want them to be prepared for that, and we want to listen from them because they have bright ideas and they are actually agents of change already. We want to bring a network of faith-based organizations at different levels, but most importantly at the CEO level, where they are working already in almost every corner of the world. They manage aid contributions to development everywhere. So their contribution in terms of environmental challenges is immense and is very much needed. And the fourth consortium is the Consortium of Faith and Sciences. And we have mentioned that, and it was mentioned in many of your speeches, and actually the reports coming back from the regional hubs makes it necessary that we want the science to service religious scripts and religious scripts to support the sciences. The following slide is the purpose of the Faith for Earth Coalition. So we do want to facilitate the dialogue among all players, the dialogue between faith leaders and scientists, the dialogue between young people and eminent leaders. We want to link environmental policies to faith principles, and this is very important. And as we heard from His Excellency, the Minister of Environment of Iceland, he is about to propose a resolution to be submitted to the United Nations Environment Assembly, that it becomes a UN decision, and then programs and projects and policies and directions and guidelines are established behind that. And then we need to mobilize all voices at the global, regional, and local levels. And this is in terms of leaving no one behind. The following slide is the connection or the interconnectedness between the different councils. We are not creating standalone councils, but we have thought about it, and we need the faith leaders to provide the wisdom, the traditional knowledge, the spiritual leadership, as well as the leadership of making a change with the young leaders who will take that and run with it at the local level, at their innovations hubs, and so on. We want to create the dialogue between scientists and the different players in this arena, and so on. And the following slide talks about the roles of the different council members. At the highest level, of course, it is wisdom, it is theology, it is leadership. At the young or youth council, it is the strategic exchange between the different councils and motivational drive among all the councils, and so on. The scientific consortium, or the faith science consortium, will be a platform for information and knowledge sharing, linking the scriptures and the teachings and all the practices that faith or all the religions are preaching and advocating into practical, scientifically based programs and projects on at the global level, and of course all levels. The following slide talks about some of the principles that we will be adopting as part of the coalition. Of course, we are all committed to the human rights and Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We will be adopting the principle of leaving no one behind, whatever their background is, whatever their tradition is. Everybody has something to contribute. We want to build the bridges between the experiences and expertise that are out there. And we want to, in our attempt to contribute to a transformational change that changes the behavior of the people in terms of consumption and production. And the following slides represent some of the key activities that we will be conducting. One of them is the Global Faith for Earth Forum, which is proposed to be held every 2 years alongside or back to back with the United Nations Environment Assembly. The following slide, another key activity, which is we need to bring faith and religions to speak and have dialogues and contribute to businesses. Somebody said, when you pray, you think of your business, but do you think of your prayers when you do business? We want business to be based on ethical and spiritual values as well. And the following slide is another activity that we are running, and it has been mentioned in many of your contributions. Women faith leaders are very important, and we want to create the intergenerational and take the gender perspectives into the dialogue. We want to empower the gender faith or the women faith leaders to contribute at all levels, global, regional, and local, because we know women are actually the doers at the local level. Most of the agricultural practices, for example, in Africa, are owned by women, so they have a great role to play. And the following slide talks about the Innovation Lab. And I have been privileged last year to host the Faith for Earth Dialogue, and we invited some innovators from faith-based organizations. They have been doing tremendous job and at the local level, providing access to water, providing access to energy, using some innovative, simple approaches that have not been thought of before. One of the contribution is the work by our friends in the Buddhist Zichu Foundation. Contribution to this specific conference is the masks that have our logos on them. And this is the innovation of it is each mask is made of 2 bottles of recycled plastic bottles. And the following slide also talks about the type of things that faith actors can do. Of course, we all have agreed education is a key. We need that education to link environmental protection with spiritual responsibilities. We need to work with businesses. We need to engage with legislative bodies, with policymakers at all fora, the COPs, United Nations Environment Assembly, the General Assembly of the UN, and so forth. But most importantly, we want to create projects at the local level where we demonstrate and practicing what we have been preaching. And finally, the last slide is what have we done so far to prepare for the launch of the coalition. We have developed the Faith for Earth Coalition concept, which is actually found on the website of the conference. We have prepared the structure, the system, the administrative setup. We have prepared a resource mobilization strategy, a gender equality strategy that governs the role of or integrates gender perspectives into the coalition. We have prepared a communication strategy, a 5-year work plan, a budget scenario, and we have prepared results of the consultative survey that has actually inspired us. And we have consulted with thousands of faith-based organizations and faith leaders, and they have all supported the creation of the coalition. And finally, the last slide, together we can make a difference. Thank you very much.